Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. We are moving on to part two here with the 75 TS125. Last video, I got this thing tuned up, running good. I was missing that O-ring on the bottom of the needle jet for the carb. And once I put that in there, it ran flawlessly. Took it in the woods for a little bit and changed up the front wheel and, got it in running condition. So now it is time to address some of the cosmetics. We're going to repaint the fender, fuel tank, and I might do the front fender too while I'm at it. I got some body filler on here. I didn't put this on here, but this came on the bike when I got it. Looks like somebody was trying to fill in some dents and was going to repaint this because it's got primer on it right now. So luckily the tank is in really good shape. So it's just going to be a matter of sanding this down, getting that as smooth as possible. This right here too. And then I'll put some more primer on there and get it ready for paint. And same with the rear fender. As you can see, it's a little crusty looking. Figuring out too, I might address, have to look at that counter shaft seal. I think that's leaking pretty good there. I'm pretty sure it's coming out of there onto the chain. It is kind of like an auto lube system right now for the chain. I don't have to put any oil on it, but should probably address that. So I'll get a look at that. If I can, hopefully I can just kind of pull that seal out if I take the sprocket off. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to that in this video, but that's one other thing I got to keep in mind. And we're still going to clean up some of this greasy mess that's on the swing arm, and we'll get this chain guard repainted too, and try to knock off some of this rust on the rim. So really nothing mechanical to do in this video. Just get it looking nice and maybe take it back onto some more trails. Got the I did get the speedometer cable hooked up. I'm still waiting for the new tack cable to come in. So hopefully, I didn't get a chance to try it yet, but we'll, I got this hooked up. Hopefully it's just a plug and play deal. We're going to find out though. So, yeah, I'm going to move on here to paint, I think, and we're going to get the, I'm going to get this tank off, drain it out, and start sanding stuff down and get some primer on there and making it look good. So let's get started. We're going to start by getting the fuel tank removed, get the gas out of it, and we'll start sanding that down, and we're going to prime it, get it ready for paint. Kind of already started sanding the some of the body putty off on this top part, and I already got it pretty smooth. I just got to go over it with some more, finer grit paper. Get this rear fender out of here too. Get a screwdriver on this so I could take this lens off. You got that packed in there pretty good. The headlight out of the way. I'm not sure if this is still good or not, but we're going to worry about the lighting afterwards. Get this all pulled through so I can paint this bucket and oops, get these out of the way. Got some hack jobs going on here. Not sure what that's all about yet. Sure we'll find out. So I've gone over this with 80 grit already and got it pretty smooth here around it. Just gonna get some finer grit and finish it off before I wipe it down with alcohol, get ready for prep for primer. So we're gonna move up to a 280 grit. We'll rub that down a little bit with it, get that smoother, and then work our way up to even finer grit sandpaper here. I'm by no means a body shop or a paint expert. I'm just going by the same method I used on my XL 350 that I did and my DT 360A that I did. Both were backyard rattle can jobs. Just took my time, made sure the prep was right, because the prep is the key, as anybody knows when you're painting. So made sure everything was clean and primered correctly. And then the key to it all, I think, is this 2K clear coat at the end of it. So I just use like Duplicolor for the actual color on the paint. Like the XL 350, I use a silver Duplicolor and then a blue Ford engine enamel. And then I just coated the heck out of it with this 2K stuff. And that's been holding up now for 3+ years. And I've spilled gas on it. Had no issues with paint coming off. The DT 360A I did maybe last summer. I really didn't get a chance to ride that out too much, but I have spilled gas on that too, and that's holding up really well too. So yeah, prep, you lay down that color and then you coat it with the 2K stuff, and then that'll protect it pretty good. You know, it's just a backyard job, so I'm pretty happy with the way those came out. You know, take it to a actual body shop, I'm sure it'll look way nicer, but for a rider, and I want it to look decent, you know, that was plenty good for me. It's feeling pretty good there. All right, I'm gonna go one step up on the grit to a finer grit. We'll go up to a 320 and just keep working our way down. I'm just doing the same thing with the rear fender here too. Get as much the heavy stuff off as I can. I got the sanding all done on this, and now I'm just going to go through and wipe it down with some alcohol, make sure we got no oil contaminants on here, and just getting it cleaned up before I take it outside to paint it. Okay, just got done laying the first coat of primer down. I'm gonna let this cure. It's not perfect, as you can see. We still got some dents in here and stuff, but you know, I'm not going for showroom quality. I just want it to look halfway decent. So let this dry up, put another coat on. Here's the fender and the headlight bucket here too. All right, here we are. Next day, I got the primer, let that set up, and we got some silver paint on it, as you can see, along with the fuel tank here. And I'm wiping it down one last time with the alcohol, gets any contaminants off of there. And I'm gonna do the 2K clear coat on there as well. So got a nice day here, like I said, nice and warm, probably one of the last warm days. It's like mid-60s right now, and I figured it'd be a good time to get this stuff painted up and cleared over. And I got the tank graphics too ready to go, so that'll be a couple days after I let it all set up. But all right, I'm gonna spray it on now, and I'll bring you in once that's done. Okay, we got the clear coat laid on, and used almost a whole can on the tank. I also used some down here for the fender and the headlight bucket too, but I was focusing more on the tank, obviously, just because I want to get a good hard candy shell on there, so when gas gets spilt, it's not going to affect that paint. So we're going to let that cure, let it sit out here for a little while, and we'll get it back downstairs and eventually get that those decals on the tank too. So don't mind those dents. Like I said, I'm not going for full-on showroom condition, just more of a spruce up for a rider. So all right, I'm going to bring you back in once we're ready for the decals. Before I get to the decals on the tank, I'm going to let that clear coat cure up a little bit better, and I'm going to work on getting some of this rust off of the heat shield here, and also on the taillight assembly. I'm going to use a little bit of steel wool and some chrome polish, try to get some of this rust off. I already started working on the rear rim here a little bit, and that's actually coming pretty clean. So it's just on the one side. I'm going to do the other side yet, and then come back and hit up any excess chrome that I find, that, you know, like the shock pieces, any other spots on here that might have a little bit of chrome. I'm going to try to shine up and make it look a little bit more presentable. But I'm going to start on the heat shield here first. I'm probably just going to leave this on here. I got 2 screws I got to find to put in here, and I'll try to get this cleaned up a little bit better. I was going to take this off, but it's nice to be able to push on it, not have to worry about bending it up if I put it on the bench. It's actually pretty sturdy on here, and it, you know, it's molded around the exhaust. And the exhaust isn't in too bad a shape, so I'm not even going to bother painting that. So I'm just going to leave it on here. So I'll keep chipping away at this. I'll bring it back in here in a minute once I get it a little bit nicer looking. It came pretty clean. I got new bolts in here and new screws to hold that down, but looks a little bit better than before. Started on the shock. Starting to polish some of that up too, and we'll do the other side of that rim like I said, but it's coming along pretty nice. I'm going to start on the taillight assembly here next. This one's got some pretty heavy rust on it, so not sure how well this is going to come out afterwards. It's probably going to be kind of pitted still, but we're going to do my best here to brighten it up a little bit more. Okay, it's coming along. It's not going to be perfect, but it'll look better than before, that's for sure. I'm going to get these reflectors removed. Make it a little easier to hit the rest of that. Tail light opened up here, and this was all dull, so I started shining that up. No bulb in here. Have to get one of those. And got the reflectors off too, so should be able to get most of that off, I think. Hopefully. That's about as good as it's going to get with the tail light assembly. There's just a lot of heavy rust on here, and it's pitted pretty bad. And without getting this thing re-chromed, which is just going overkill for what I'm trying to do with this bike, and I think that doesn't look half bad. So we're going to get this back on the fender once I get the fender back on the bike. But I got a little bit more cleaning to do before I do that, so I'll bring you back in once we're ready to do all that. Coming back to the rear wheel here, I got the rim all cleaned up. All that heavy rust, a lot of it was just grease that came off on the rim, so still a little bit of rust on there, but nothing like it was before. Got the swing arm cleaned up. I got the chain guard off right now to paint. Also the cover here to get some paint on it too. So I degreased all this up to try to pinpoint where that leak is coming from. I'm almost almost positive it is the counter shaft, but we'll find out for sure here once I let it sit for a little bit. And when I go to put those parts back on, I'll probably end up taking this off and pulling that sprocket just to get a better look. Try to wrestle these wires back through the bucket openings here. It's a pretty tight fit pulling this out. It's kind of nice they have these harness plugs on here instead of each individual wire, like I've done on a bunch of Hondas before. Okay, now it's just a matter of matching these up, getting this plugged into the right plugs on the harness, and put the light bulb lens in, and we should be good. Keep the moisture out. A little bit on each plug. think I had one of these in wrong. This one was actually for the headlight, the one with the yellow, white, and black with white stripe. I had the gray and black with the white stripe in there, so just gonna move that over to this plug. Get the light plugged in here. And then these extra ones, I'll have to look at the wiring diagram, but I'm almost positive these are probably for the turn signals, which are not on the bike right now. So whoever had this before me just kind of terminated these. So we'll just coil them up in here. Worry about that later if I could find some turn signals. Maybe I'll hook those up later. Now I'm just gonna figure out how to jam all this in here. All right, I'm moving over to the tank decals now. Let this clear coat cure for a couple days now, and I'm gonna get ready to apply these stickers on here. Now, these are actually for a 1974 TS125 tank. I couldn't find the 75 graphics for a TS125, and I actually kind of like these ones better anyway. So I'm just gonna use these. So it's not, you know, the purists probably aren't gonna be happy, but you know, I think these look a little nicer. Plus, they're gonna be easier to put on than the ones that come on the 75, which has like a big, like a swoosh right here, which those can be tricky because you got a pretty big space to cover, and this is like kind of on like a contour here. It's not really exactly flat, so it could be tricky. I did a Yamaha DT360A tank that had a ring that went all the way around here that was separate from the Yamaha insignia, and that was really tricky to get lined up on there. So welcome change for a nice straightforward graphic with this. Plus, like I said, I like it better than what's on the 75 TS125. So the plan is I'm going to try to have this contour here line up with the tank's contour on the top of the tank here, and try to size it up, get an eyeball to where I want to put it. Looking at pictures online, it looks like people have matched up this top part with here, like I was saying. So I'm going to try for the same thing and get as close as possible. And first though, I got to just do a quick wipe down with some alcohol on this side. Do that now. That's all nice and clean and free of any oil contaminants from my fingers from grabbing that earlier. I am wearing gloves though now too, so I should cut down on the possibility of getting oil on there. And I'm going to use a little bit of Windex that's diluted with water, so it's not straight Windex, and just kind of spritz this a little bit. Get it to the point where I can put this on there and kind of move it around if I have to. Sure that's wet enough to where I can move that around. And I'll peel the sticker now. Okay. Now I'm going to try to see how am I going to do this. Get something to set under there so this kind of sits up on an angle here real quick. I'll be right back. I just have like a water bottle wedged under there for now. Just another quick spurt. Okay. Now, try to line this up, eyeball it. Okay, I have a credit card here that I'm going to use just to squeegee as much of that water out as I can. Okay, so I'm gonna get a heat gun and just gonna slowly heat this up just to kind of start evaporating the water and the Windex out of there as I squeegee. Try to stretch this out over some of those curvatures. But it looks pretty close to where I wanted it to go, so I think we're good there. All right, I'm gonna go grab the heat gun. I'll bring you right back in. Just put this on the lowest setting and I'll go back and forth on here a little bit. Use my finger here to work out some of those extra little creases that form. I know some people usually will put stickers down and clear over them. I've never actually tried that. All the tanks I've done the stickers over top of the clear. So, yeah, that's probably another way you can do it, but this is the way I've always done it, and I've never had any issues. Okay, I'm going to let that dry up and do the other side. We'll bring you back in once we're ready to peel this layer off here. I'm going to let this dry up though. Okay, now that I got this all dried up with the heat gun, I'm going to slowly pull off the top layer, and I'm going to pull it away from the edge, not up, because you don't want to rip that off, obviously. So I'm just going to go real slow, and we're going to go this way with it. Just make sure none of these want to pop up on you. So far, so good. Just gotta watch when you get to the letters. Sometimes those have a tendency to want to pull up. Okay. Start going a little slower here. Looking good. A little bit more. Okay, we're home free. Look at that. It looks pretty good. Yeah, let's do the other side. I guess this time I'll start on this end. little bit more. Sweet. Look at that. A little bit of moisture on there still. Let's just wipe it down. Gotta give it a little pat down. I don't want to catch any edges of that just yet. Let that cure up a little better. All right, I think we're done. That really makes that pop with that orange and blue on there like that. With the silver background, it looks great. All right, I'm pretty happy with that, even with the tank blemishes. You know, the paint didn't come out perfectly. I'm not a body guy, so the sanding could have probably been a little bit better. There's a little bit of some imperfections in there, but like I said, this is a rider. It's not a show bike, and it looks a heck of a lot better than it did before. So, all right, I'm gonna throw this back on the bike and get a look at, see how she looks now. Check that out. Look how nice that looks now. Very happy with the way that came out. Got the sticker on there pretty evenly, I'd say, on both sides, matching the contours of the tank. And yeah, just by eyeballing that, I think I got it pretty well centered. So the other parts I painted were the sprocket guard, chain guard. Those came out really nice. So you might be wondering too about the countershaft seal that I thought was leaking. I don't know if that's the case anymore. I degreased all that stuff and been keeping an eye on it when I had this off. And I didn't get any drips, and I don't have anything on the floor underneath of it. And this has been like a week so far. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it, but in case you're wondering why I didn't take that apart like I was saying at the beginning of the video, that's why. It might not be leaking at all. So we'll figure out what is leaking if I do see a puddle, but I don't think that was it. I didn't do the fender just because it's plastic, and I never have good luck with doing plastic parts. Tried using plastic primer, and every time I paint them, it just seems like, you know, you touch it and it flakes off real easy. So if anybody watching has any pointers for doing plastic paint, I'm all ears. The chrome came out really good. Oh, the front wheel was already in pretty good shape. I got that from Cuttrell Vintage Cycles again, so thanks again, guys, if you're still watching. The rear came out much better than I expected to. That looked pretty bad shape whenever I got it, but most of it was just grease on there. Shocks came clean. The heat shield came clean. So yeah, overall, it went from being, I'd say, a 4 cosmetically to an 8. I'd gotta give it an 8, 8.5 maybe, aside from the little blemishes on the tank, you know, and then the seat. And so the only real eyesore left is these handlebars here. They're pretty far gone, pitted, and no amount of polish is going to get those clean. You can see how pitted those are and rough. So I'm just going to leave that go for now, and I might, you know, I'd rather them be chrome, but I might just paint them silver if I can't find bars the same style online for a decent price that are chrome still. So I'm just going to leave them be. Like I said, it's going to be a rider, but would like it to be a little nicer up here too. And we got the tack cable and the speedometer cable hooked up, so hopefully we get to test that out here soon. Get it back out on the road, maybe on some light trail work. We'll see. The fender came out nice too. Look at that. Chrome came cleaner than I thought on the brake assembly too. See that? Still some rust on there, but you know, most of that's pitted. Not much I can do with it there. So I'm very happy with the way this bike came out. I just got the electrics to deal with next. I got a battery on its way, and we'll put that in the next video. I'm just gonna hook that up and probably try to get the taillight working and the headlight. And I don't have turn signals for this yet. I might not even bother with turn signals, but we'll see. We'll see what I can find online. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to get alerted on the next video that I put out on this bike and on the other ones too. So as always, guys, thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video.